Hi Aries, I'm EllaAradia and welcome to your August 2026 Psychic Tarot reading. This reading is for my Aries fire signs, where we'll be exploring the overall energies and themes for the month ahead, as well as taking a deeper dive into how these might be playing out for you in your life. This is a general reading, so it's not going to resonate for all of you, but what I find is there's always a shared theme that runs through the collective of all of you Aries signs. So it may show up in different areas of your life in slightly different ways, but the theme is always the same. So take what feels aligned for you and just leave the rest. And before we jump in, a very big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoy this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and then you can get notified when the next videos are up. So Aries, let's jump in. So I always like to tune into the energies first, Aries, before I start pulling any cards. I'm a psychic reader, so I always like to see what the universe shows me. I'm feeling for many of you there is something or somebody that you're having a real struggle to let go of here. I see someone leaving your life, and it feels like someone that you have a very deep bond with. I would say this is soulmate energy, but at the same time, this also feels like someone that you have maybe had a lot of struggles with in terms of progressing things or getting them to open up more emotionally. It may be someone that has kind of come in and out of your life quite a lot, you know, a lot of stops and restarts, something like that. But I'm seeing somebody leaving your life, and I feel like it's bringing up an abandonment wound. It's bringing up, you know, what feels like a void or an emptiness inside of you, which I feel is, you know, something that is really quite challenging for you to face. And so there is this, you know, this desire to, you know, try to hold on to whoever this is, whatever this is. And of course you want to do that when you love someone, but, you know, I feel like it's important to understand that not all soulmates come into our life to be life partners. You know, it's not always this amazing love story. Sometimes it can be tough lessons. You know, a soulmate can come in to, you know, really shake things up for us, to bring up perhaps old, you know, traumas, past hurts, things that we haven't yet healed. And we can have more than one soulmate. A lot of people think there's only one soulmate, but we can have many, many soulmates. And the thing I keep hearing is the way you're feeling about this person is these beliefs around, you know, you'll never love anyone like you love this person. You'll never have that kind of love again. And the important thing to remember always that every connection is unique. One connection is not meant to replace another one. Every connection is unique in its own way, and it's deep in its own way. And you can have more than one, you know, love in your life. So with your overall energies, we have the Hermit, soul searching, going inside for answers. That's what the energies of this card is all about. You know, it's about a solitary journey, because, you know, that's what I'm seeing in front of you. And that's the fear, the thing that I feel you're trying to avoid. That if, you know, if you allow yourself to let go of this person, it's going to leave this void, this emptiness, and this sense of abandonment, which I feel goes back to your past. And so really, you know, what this person is doing for you is bringing that, you know, original wound up for you to heal. And, it's not always the most comfortable thing, working on ourselves. There can be tough moments. But this is what I'm seeing as, your overall energies for this month. And, the Hermit is a very well-traveled soul. This is someone who has had a lot of life experiences, which you have, and a lot of lessons that have been learnt. This is about tapping into the wisdom, of what you have learnt from the lessons from the past and using that wisdom to guide you forwards. It's a little bit like the lantern that the Hermit is holding there. It only lights the way so far. But as you move forwards, the road becomes clearer and clearer, because I do feel like there's some kind of solitary journey ahead of you. And it feels to me like it's a necessary one, because somehow, going on this journey, it's going to be you coming home to yourself in some way and becoming, more healed, more whole and complete, where you will, in the future, you will look back on this and you will understand why things went the way they did, and you will take the blessing of this moving forwards. But right now it does feel like quite a challenging time. In your most recent past, the Wheel of Fortune. Your current energies, the Tower, this is what I'm talking about. So, big change. This is change. The Tower is about change. Sometimes very sudden change, it feels to me. The Wheel of Fortune is a card I always look at as your destiny in motion. It's about divine timings, orchestrations, and often comes in and changes sometimes the direction that we are going in. It can change our life path. Sometimes if things have not been going so well, the Wheel of Fortune represents things changing, getting better, or vice versa. But this is all about karmic ties, soul contracts. That's why I feel like the person that you have been dealing with here, it is a soulmate. And even if, there were struggles or challenges, that bond can still be deep, because there's powerful soul lessons here at play, powerful healing, that is happening. And the Tower, it usually comes in to clear away anything that was built on illusions or false foundations. And I see the word codependency. And I mean, most connections have, a degree of codependency. But to me, when I feel into your energies here, Aries, I feel like there is an old wound of abandonment that left a void, that left a sense of an emptiness, where to me, I just get this feeling it felt like love was missing. And I do feel like it's been a challenge for you to be on your own. I do feel, it's not going to resonate for all of you, but I do feel like there is a group of you that struggles to, be in your own company, be in your own energy. Sometimes, there are, some of us that do better when we have a partner. And this is where I feel like there is some kind of codependency going on here, where, the person that you have been connected with is somehow filling a void that's inside of you, that is ultimately something that you need to heal and grow from. So with your feelings towards your situation, the Nine of Pentacles, the Challenge, the Hierophant. So in a love reading, the Hierophant is a card of commitment. And it's the kind of connection which is built on, shared values, beliefs, where, we really build those strong foundations, which really, really do stand the test of time. but it's also a card of keeping the faith. And I do feel quite a low energy in some of you right now, understandably. It's always challenging when, somebody that you love leaves your life for whatever reason. And I do feel an energy of disillusionment here and, losing faith in life, in love. Hidden influence is the Page of Wands. Because this is what I'm feeling here. Like I said at the beginning, so we've got the Nine of Pentacles, Page of Wands. Page of Wands is all about following your heart, taking some kind of inspired action, moving forwards. Nine of Pentacles is about creating the kind of life that you really want for yourself. Security, abundance, whatever that is that you're wanting to have in your life. Because sometimes, in these sort of codependent connections, sometimes we see the person that we're connecting with as bringing us something we feel we don't have. And that can be many, many different things. And, the tower that's come in, where, things are breaking down that were perhaps built on, let's say shaky ground, illusions or false foundations, it clears the way for truth. And what I feel it's clearing the way for is for you, like I said, to almost come back to yourself, come back to your center, reclaim your power, and really start to create in your life, to create and manifest anything that you feel is missing. Even if that's something inside of yourself, this is an invitation right now of you being the best partner to yourself right now, moving forward. So that means, the love, all that love that you have to give, it's about giving some of that back to yourself now. And what is breaking down here is clearing the way for you to really create what you want in life, I feel. And to get to the point where you're actually feeling okay in your own company. That doesn't mean, giving up on love here. It doesn't mean it's not something, that you might want for your future. Of course, most people, they want to connect to that, the one, that person, that life partner. But somehow, it's important to remember that if you're dealing with someone who isn't ready to go to that next level with you, they're not ready for that commitment, it also has to be mirroring something inside of you where you weren't quite ready in some way. Because as much as possible, it's always about enhancing each other's lives, not completing them in terms of, a codependent connection of some sort. And so, this person that you're dealing with, they very much, have been a lesson for you. And I feel like it's been quite a heartbreaking one and very challenging. And of course, it takes time to, really process those feelings. And you need to take the time to do that. It's not about, denying sadness or pain or anything like that. But clearly, there is still some things inside of you that you need to heal to put you in a more whole and complete space in yourself. Because for somebody to, really love you and invest in you in the way that you want, you first have to be able to give that to yourself. And that's the missing key that I'm seeing about this. And so what this is going to do is it's going to create some space for you. And my kind of feeling on this, when I kind of feel a little bit further along in your timeline, you know, it might be a challenge. There might be some nights where you kind of feel a bit alone and this, that, and the other. And you know, that's never a comfortable feeling. You know, it's going to bring up this abandonment wound. It's going to bring up that old wound, that old trauma from your past where there's been, you know, either something missing in terms of, you know, love or someone that left or some kind of loss. And, you know, it's just that there's still something in there that you're needing to heal from. And that's what this connection has really bringing up for you. I just get the sense, you know, even though there's love, and I do feel like this person loves you also, but somehow that's not, you know, the role of life partner was not the reason that you connected in this case. And, you know, that person is out there for you, but there's just a little bit more work that you need to do on yourself. So with your advice from the universe is the Three of Wands. So this is all about new horizons, new possibilities, seeing what else is out there. And I'm not talking about necessarily in love, but I feel like this is a little bit of a journey of self-discovery. You know, I've got the Hermit as your overall energies, a solo journey of going within, you know, discovering more of yourself. And a lot of that is going to involve also moving out of your comfort zone. That could be trying new things, you know, getting out there in the community, starting some new activities, or pouring your energy into, you know, perhaps a life goal that you still haven't completed yet, or a project. Some of you, it might be about connecting to purpose, because, you know, I feel like this is making space for you, like I said before, to come home to you in some way, discover yourself, get back in your power in terms of you creating in your life the love, the happiness, which starts, you know, on the inside. What's coming in for you is the Empress, new beginnings, some kind of rebirth. And, you know, this is all about you recognizing your beauty as well, you know, male or female, you know, recognizing, you know, how, you know, special and unique and amazing that you are, and really knowing your worth in that way. So some kind of new beginning. It's all about manifesting. What lies in the outcome is the Knight of Swords. This is often a call to take an action, but at the same time, a caution to kind of think before you move ahead. Sometimes represents somebody coming into your life very quickly, leaving your life very quickly, often in a way that feels very destructive, which is what I feel has kind of happened with this connection that we're dealing with here. Even though I feel like it's been a bit of a challenge and there's been some kind of stops and starts, and a real challenge around kind of moving things to the next level here. And it feels a bit like they've suddenly kind of left your life and left all this, you know, destruction behind. But I do feel that if you really felt into it a little bit more deeply, I do feel your intuition, you know, may have, you know, been trying to tell you some things that you haven't wanted to see. I do feel like this has been, you know, something that has been a challenge for a while, that you've been trying to sort of hold on to for a while as well. And so it kind of feels like this person has suddenly kind of upped and left. But I do feel like, you know, the works of this have been, you know, quite a while coming. And so it is to, you know, process your feelings, take your time, and take some time out, you know, for just for a little while, as long as it feels right. You know, sometimes at some point connecting to a new person can, help us to let go of those last bits. But it's also important sometimes perhaps to just be with this abandonment wound and, this fear of kind of being alone, and actually find the courage to really face that, because it's a really, really nice feeling when you can get to this sweet spot of really feeling good in your own skin, in your own company. And, from that space, attracting in somebody that's actually going to enhance your life and you're going to enhance theirs. So Aries, I'm going to leave that there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, and I wish you a great month ahead.